Hello, everybody. Glad to join you today. Thank you very much for joining us from all around the world to this webinar entitled The Power of Symbolic Jewellery from Trendvision. We're now going to show you the latest video from Trendvision, so here it is. Great. Well, thank you very much. That was really very interesting. So I'd like to introduce first our special guest panelist today, Rebecca Förster from El Rosa, USA. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, David. Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very honored to be here.
Great. So where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from New York and my home office here in New York today.
Great. Excellent. Well, we're going to have a discussion with you shortly about the diamond jewelry market in the United States. I'd next, though, like to introduce Paola De Luca. Hi, Paola. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, David. Good morning, Rebecca, and good morning, the audience for today's session. I'm very honored to have Rebecca Förster from New York, and of course you, David. This is our, I think fifth or sixth webinar that we have started during the lockdown, and we are very proud to continue as Trendvision to have these special educational sessions for the industry.
Great, thank you very much. So now, Paola, I believe you're going to give us a short presentation about diamonds, so over to you.
Yes, David. Well, today I'd like, before I start the presentation and before Sarah will help us with the launch of the presentation on the other side, I'd like just to say what is what's today's session. Today's session is the power of symbolic jewelry, and symbolic jewelry have been around from like the beginning of all era, because jewelry represents love, commitment, but most important, the expression of our own self. So jewelry, then, as an artifact, as an object, they've been symbols of whatever message and meaning we have worldwide. Through symbols and through jewelry, we express emotions, belief, spiritual values, personal know-how in culture, power. So jewelry themselves, as an object, as an artifact, they have that, intrinsic value and meaning beside the iconic element. So today we'll investigate, in a very, short way, because we'd have like an hour, what is considered the modern amulets and talisman in the era of digital disruption, but also we'll touch base of the importance of natural diamonds, which have been confirmed as the gemstones of basically legacy that really unites everyone around the globe. So let me start with sharing the presentation. 1 second, because I have to. Okay. So, diamond symbols of love, spirituality, life, and more. Basically, diamonds, since actually before, I think that, the 3rd century before Christ, actually, they were discovered, they were found in India, and they were considered talismans they were protecting warriors, and they were like talismans of protection in general. So see, we're talking about, you know, centuries and centuries of meaning. And even today, traditionally, they are a symbol of love, light, wisdom, and faithfulness between a relationship between a couple, between a family, between someone. So natural diamonds, they've been part of history for many, many centuries. But what's happening? I mean, we recently embraced this conversation, and with the changes of you know, digital disruption, and even the time that we are facing right now with the pandemic, and everything is changing, but also social values, social changes. The meaning of diamonds is actually shifting. In one way, is reconfirming its power, and then I will pass the, you know, of course, the word to Rebecca. But you know, cultural diversity, sustainability, digital culture, experiential luxury, somehow is also impacting, in a way, the meaning of diamonds. What do I mean by that? Of course, new generation, millennial, Gen Z, they are approaching the world of natural diamonds and diamonds in general in a new way. Even couples, before they were considered, you know, classically and traditionally only heterosexual couples, today diversity and inclusivity include also gay couples. So the meaning of diamonds, and also the way diamonds have been interpreted, in a way they are reflecting the social changes and also the communication. So what is really the big debate, and in a way the wonderful you know, platform of observation that we are having, is really seeing how diamonds are evolving in the whole evolution and transformation of society internationally. So now we're going to highlight some, let's call it, macro trends of design, which some may be still considered niche. And actually, we will speak with Rebecca later, like immediately after, and we'll focus on what are actually the macro trend in terms of diamonds as an investment, but also diamonds as, you know, cats and value and so on. So salt and pepper, in terms of design direction, we have been seeing our designers, independent designers especially, have been using salt and pepper diamonds, but also sliced diamonds. Now, sliced diamonds, I would like to say that in India, there is a long tradition, and they are not considered a niche diamond. So Polki jewelry, for instance, that they use sliced diamonds, and actually there is a growth of sliced diamonds jewelry associated to the Polki tradition of Indian culture. So I would suggest that people that is interested to know more, today we are not going to focus on diamonds technique. I would suggest that they would go and actually get more acquainted with, you know, this kind of technique and heritage. Colored diamonds, letters and diamonds being in terms of design there. So macro trends include, let's say, inclusion and beauty marks. Sliced diamonds is an emerging trend in terms of design, but very strong in India is a macro trend. Colored diamonds are evolving and continuing. Color meaning fancy diamonds, and we're going to share with Rebecca how yellow diamonds are in demand, and how pink diamonds are also considered rare and unique and a great investment because of their Guile mine in Australia shutting down shortly. Personal and intimate jewelry like glitters and letters on diamonds. Rough diamonds meaning organic, and of course, let's say color associated with diamonds, more design pieces. But now, this is just an introduction of how diamonds are evolving in terms also of design. And I'd like to pass it over to you, David and Rebecca, where I think we should basically jump on this wonderful conversation with Rebecca Forster, that she will share her incredible insights. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you, Paola.
Thank you very much, Paola. Yeah, so Rebecca, if we could just chat about how you see the US market right now in the height of the pandemic for diamond jewelry. I mean, one would think that this is not a time when people necessarily will be thinking about luxury, but I get the sense that the market is actually quite vibrant.
Yeah, David, thank goodness. I mean, it's really almost counterintuitive what you would expect during a pandemic, but we are seeing tremendous demand for natural diamonds. We have great sales activities happening in our office, which tells me that the consumer demand is there, and all the retailers say the same. I think natural diamonds as part of the luxury category take on a new meaning during a time like this, where people are looking for things with more inherent value, more sustainability, something that can be passed down as a legacy. So, you know, for the natural diamond market, it's been actually an opportunity to capture more market share from some of what I call the soft luxury goods, like, you know, handbags and shoes that people actually are not really looking for at this moment in time.
Do you think part of the sentiment revolves around a sense that diamonds can represent a store of value?
Yeah, so I think it comes from a multitude of things. I think from a pure investment standpoint, people are looking for alternative investments to balance out their portfolios right now because of the volatility of the stock market and other financial tools. So owning diamonds is pretty safe. You know, they've held their value over many years and have always been known as a form of great transient money and value. So people are happy to add that to their portfolio, whether it's a large investment in a natural colored diamond, such as a pink stone or any other of the beautiful true colors from nature, or whether it's just a piece of jewelry with diamond content that has, you know, more of an emotional value, a relevant symbolism, some kind of messaging, as you saw in what Paola presented, you know, diamonds with lettering or words, something that can be passed down within the family as a legacy. The diamond, for sure, whether it's an investment or whether it's just something made, purchased for a gift or for oneself, certainly, you know, has that emotional component that talks about stability and endurance and something that lasts forever, and can be given, of course, as a sign, as a commitment to tell a loved one that, you know, everything's okay. You know, it's going to be okay. And I'm giving you this as sort of a symbol of endurance and safety.
Yeah. So this is you know, in the height of this pandemic when many people are having a really difficult time, you think that, if you like, meaningful gifting of diamond jewelry and also very personalized diamond jewelry is really stepping up in this period, certainly in the US market.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a couple of things. I mean, we're seeing a large movement also to some of the more basics and classic jewelry. You know, significant solitaire pendants, line bracelets, things like that, because these are things that, you know, never go out of style and can be passed on from generation to generation. We're also seeing, you know, jewelry that has symbolism and meaning of inspiration, whether it be a compass or a sign, some kind of symbol that people are looking for encouragement during these dark and difficult times.
Are you seeing also lettering, personalized gifts in diamond jewelry that feature lettering? Is that a part of
messaging, lettering, and any kind of piece of jewelry that has you know, some kind of symbol of hope or light or future, that also seems to be in demand. The other thing that we're seeing, of course, is a huge uptrend in the bridal market. One of the things that's happened certainly here in the US and I think in other parts of the world is a huge boom in engagements. People that maybe have been living together or been thinking about it have really decided to make that step during these difficult times and to solidify that commitment with an engagement ring. And not only are we seeing a demand in center stones for engagement rings, but the actual average price of an engagement ring has increased tremendously. So whereas people might have mostly bought a carat plus, carat and a half stone, we're seeing really that uptick to 2 to 3 plus carats, and people spending more money because for them this is an opportunity to really show how committed they are. And to put some maybe other money that they might have used elsewhere for entertainment and travel into something that for them now really has significant meaning.
Excellent. So can we just talk a little bit about color? Because in a sense, color can reflect emotion. I read the Natural Diamond Council's Holiday 2020 report, where they talk about the combination of very vibrant colors in materials with diamond jewellery. What are you seeing in terms of the demand for colour in diamond jewellery, and also in terms of natural coloured diamond jewellery itself? What colours in diamond jewellery are particularly sought after in this period?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been seeing a trend of mixing gemstone and diamonds for a while. And certainly color in a time like this, whether it's, in your jewelry or clothing or in your home, is very important in for one's mental state and inspiration. So I'm not surprised to hear that the trend in jewelry, using maybe sapphires and rubies and other gemstones is increasing. With natural diamonds, there is definitely an appetite for the natural colored diamonds. We just held an auction in our office last week, mostly composed of natural colored stones featuring many different shades and tones of yellow. The yellow seems, again, to still remain strong and obviously still affordable. So consumer demand is there for the yellows, but also certainly for the pink diamonds, which Alrosa, as a mining company, is fortunate enough to find in our mine in Russia. For those of you that are maybe not aware, the largest producer of pink diamonds is the Argyle mine, which is located in Australia. And unfortunately for the industry as a whole, that mine will be closing within the next year. So the supply of the famous Argyle pinks will be coming to an end in terms of new supply. And so we're seeing a real appetite in the trade for pink diamonds. And so that was a big feature at our auction recently as well.
Do you sense that the premium for pink diamonds can increase going forward because of the looming closure of the mine in Australia, Argyle? Are we going to see pink diamonds costing more?
I think over time there's definitely an opportunity. I think what we'll see now is people that have been collecting these pink diamonds for a long time. As the supply diminishes, these diamonds will be coming out. And they'll be available in the market, and then ultimately that supply will, level off. And I do think that certainly pinks are some of the rarest stones in the world, and I do think that they're a great investment, and we will see that trend upwards again in their value and their pricing.
Could you just tell us, Rebecca, a little bit about Alrosa, just for background? Is it correct that Alrosa is the biggest supplier of natural diamonds to the world in carat terms? And tell us where the mines are located and the kind of diamonds that come out of these mines.
Sure. So I was fortunate enough about 2 years ago to be offered the opportunity to join Alrosa, which was really a great decision for me because Alrosa indeed is the largest diamond mining company in terms of supply, about 1/3 of the world's supply in diamonds. We have 12 mines, all located in Russia, the Siberia area. It's actually called Yakutia. And we have, in addition to the 12 pit mines, we have 7 alluvial mines. The thing about Alrosa that makes it so special and unique is the commitment really to sustainability and to provenance and to really giving back to the communities where our mines are located. We give more in revenue than any other mining company, and over 500 charities every year to help people with their livelihood and their education and their healthcare. And so for me, that was very appealing to work for a company that was so committed to their CSR policy and to really adding more inherent value to a natural diamond. For me, natural diamond, every diamond has a unique story and a personal journey that includes so many individuals around the world that without natural diamonds, they would really have a very different type of livelihood.
All right, very good, thank you. So before we move on to Paola for her main presentation today on symbolic jewellery, if I could just ask you one more question, Rebecca, about sustainability. I mean, do you sense that in the United States that diamond jewellery consumers increasingly value sustainability in luxury? And is Alrosa taking steps along its supply chain to ensure as far as possible that the production is sustainable?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a trend that we've seen now for a few years, but I think definitely with the pandemic, the global pandemic, this focus on sustainability and knowing where your product came from has really become much more important. Consumers have had a lot of time to educate themselves online and to read about things, and we definitely see the importance of provenance and knowing where your diamond came from, knowing the origin. And so because we're so committed to sustainability, this has been a big focus for Alrosa for some time now. And we actually have many different forms of traceability and tracking. We look at everything in the market. We evaluate it so that we can offer our customers the best method for their business, whether it's blockchain or DOR or our own digital passports. We feel that it is definitely a thing of the future that will continue to differentiate natural diamonds and make them have, that inherent value and that story that is so important for us to tell so that people understand, how unique natural diamonds are and how important they are.
And part of the celebration of natural diamonds is fluorescence, isn't it?
Yeah, so Alrosa has kind of taken a leadership position in looking at diamonds in a bit of a different way and trying to use some of their natural features to help differentiate them. As you know, now we have a world where we have had a disruptor of lab grown, which is always healthy for any industry. It kind of wakes us up and makes us say, hey, wait a minute, what can we do differently? How can we look at things differently? And one of the areas that Alrosa has decided to focus on happens to be fluorescence. And fluorescence is one of the most beautiful natural features of a diamond. It's a rare feature. Depending on which lab you talk to, only 15% of all diamonds actually have fluorescence. And if you're looking at medium to strong levels, it's even rarer. And so there's a natural thing that happens within the molecular structure of the diamond that when UV light is shined on these diamonds, you see this incredible, beautiful blue glow. And it's almost like the inner spirit and the inner energy of the diamond. It's almost like this inner light that shines out for inspiration, energy, hope. And what better time than to really talk about that than during a pandemic, when so many of us need to really go back and look for our own inner light and our own inner strength to get us through dark times, and to make sure that we remind ourselves that there's always a bright future ahead, and things change and we go through these periods of times, but we always come out of it many times in a better way.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. So now we're going to move on to Paola, who is going to give a more detailed exposition of symbolic jewellery. I do invite the audience to submit questions, because we are going to have a Q&A after Paola's presentation. So please do submit questions on the chat function. So over to you, Paola.
Well, I want to thank Rebecca for these wonderful insights that she shared. I think she gave, many, let's call it hooks to connect whatever she has in terms of, insights and hands-on in the market with connecting it with design. I loved that she introduced luminous diamonds or fluorescent diamonds being an innovation, and actually more than an innovation, an opportunity, a market opportunity for designers and the trade. I wish to remind, designers and brands that years ago, brown diamonds, or colored diamonds, fancy diamonds, black diamonds were considered, rubbish or discarded material. Fluorescent diamonds, which has this incredible uniqueness of being fluorescent, they actually emanate this really concept of inner light and spirituality, and is a great opportunity for designers, and some independent are already using fluorescent gemstones and diamonds. Now, just quickly, because we spent, a good amount of time on the diamond segment, which I thought was the highlight of today. And also, I wish to remind that by macro trends and trends forecasting, we don't only limit ourselves into discussing about design, but how social, political changes and social shifting are actually impacting the market, and how the market then therefore is linked to design as well. So that's very important to connect the dots, and how this is actually really influence the market. So very quickly, a quick short report from Vicenza, but also from the international scenario. Let's go on what we have seen in Vicenza during the show, the power of symbolic. Of course, meaningful signs. Everything that Rebecca was mentioning, stars and constellation and the tree of life, many of these iconic elements that have been strong, we've seen in Vicenza only last September. Coins, and so heritage and culture and tradition are big time, very strong. So either they are coins or heraldic signs. They are extremely popular in engraved gemstones, coins, carved cameos, and so on. Mixed medium, very strong. There is a very important, David mentioned, and it's been actually something that was on the rise already, color, vibrant color, either is enamel or bright gemstones in contrast, but also techniques meaning cut out, filigree. Everything is kind of a celebration of ancient technique that almost have been disappearing, they've been strong and back and reevaluated in every part of the world on a local and global level, meaning local, digging into our local culture, but then reinterpret it within global taste. So Charles amulets, coins, and universal. Now we are going from Vicenza to the rest of the globe. So as you can see, designer from the States to India to South America, the eye or the triangle being the pyramid, gemstones in combination with diamonds and stone are popular signs. So we're talking about ancestral signs, snakes, but also like Egyptians, signs, everything that is historical. It seems to be kind of this talisman of protection against evil, against luck, bad luck. So something that really brings. So it's always like at the end of the day, jewelry, they've been kind of a sign also protection, against things that can happen, and actually also encourage the good things to happen around us. So you can see the confirmation of coins not only happening, in Vicenza, but worldwide. Skulls and myth, not only because we just are, yesterday was like 2 days ago was Halloween, but they're continuing to be popular, but in a fun way, always with a sense of humor. We call it dark positivism, continuing to evolve. So from Lydia Cortei to David Moe, to Liza Bozzaia. So everywhere in the world, the designers and independent designers are actually playing with this motif in a very playful way. Engraved gemstones, and I would say there is a very interesting popularity of cameos. We were saying carved gemstones, Amedeo, of course, in Italian brands, but really working and operating out of the United States. It's interpreting these, let's say, dark, theme in a very fun and humorous way. Continuing with cosmic affairs, cosmos, moon, and stars and constellation are actually confirming, their popularity. We were doing actually a research together 2 years ago on these topics that is actually is very strong, especially during the pandemic, looking at the stars and looking at the sky with a very hopeful, way. It's more spiritual than religion. And so it's confirming what Rebecca was saying, that everything that brings hope and it's really a good message. It's actually an element, a symbol of love and exchange. Sun rays, light, wisdom, inner light, continuing to be with diamonds. Actually, there is a lot of yellow gold in combination with diamonds. I would say that this season, especially the yellow gold is more popular than ever. Diamonds and pearls, also pearls is continuing, but let's focus on the messages part. Messages, playful design, lettering and initials. And now we see some of new showroom this season. They have proposed this interesting combination of charms. It was kind of a collection of many designers interpreting the concept of charms. Charms are becoming bigger, more graphic. And there is actually, we see is this season also of enameling, and also colored metal, enamel that is neon colored or bright colors. And these charms are becoming, there is like kind of a celebration of maximalism in terms of sizes, maybe also because we are working more and more online and the sizes are becoming bigger, more of a statement. So it's not a matter of how many pieces you're wearing, how many pieces of jewelry, but really making a statement. And the statement can be done also with a combination of stackable minimal pieces that you can collect on time. So even though you can buy, let's call it classic, or what was once called core jewelry or basic jewelry, now we call it optimizing and minimalistic jewelry. They're becoming more technologically evolved, adding value to the design itself, and they're becoming elastic, lightweight. big popularity of titanium, we saw it. So jewelry are becoming more functional, more comfortable. They never are as it seems because they move around and they are versatile and collectible. So these charms are playful, they're cartoonish, color bright, neon, and almost pop art, but really digital pop, I would call it. And it's very much about explaining and speaking up with modern symbols, this time of change and social turmoil and diversity and inclusivity. So we really are seeing all that. So as you can see, these charms are a combination of heirloom pieces, but also acquiring and collecting something that is reflecting modern time. So it's really not one way of expressing it, but it's really like it becomes a lost and found, but more found than lost at this point. And so as you can see, this symbol and are mixed with heirloom and contemporary, a mix of very personal, geometric, modern, and actually traditional. Love continues to be the most popular message. Either it is between a couple, between a mother and a daughter, and more men are wearing actually jewelry. So diamonds for men, pearls for men. The message of love either is in one piece of jewelry engraved, or is a little tag, or is a letters that the people can create their own message with letters, and really customizing the love messages to the loved one with initials and so on. So with this, I actually end my presentation. I went very quickly today because I felt it was very important to focus on Rebecca Forster, Diamond Insights, and connecting all the hands-on and really being on the market with the design connection, which is more important. It's not, design is always related to what's happening in the market and vice versa. Just a little note, David, before, I pass it over to you and Q&A, I'd like to remind that, next episode of Trendvision will be on December 7th. We'll be actually focusing on one design topic, and we will have guest designers from in the world, and it's going to be an interesting session. But now, please, I pass it over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Paola, and thank you for that very detailed description. Just moving to the Q&A, please do submit questions on the chat function. We have a question for Rebecca from Dorothee Rosen. Rebecca says, you mentioned natural diamonds being chosen for their sustainability. How would you back up that comment if the lab-grown diamond industry claims the same?
That's a good point.
I think it's a different story. I think, I'm not going to talk to lab grown because I'm not an expert on lab grown, but it certainly is a different story. And the story of natural diamonds is a positive one and has been for quite some time in terms of, giving back to the communities, making sure that things are done in a responsible and sustainable way with the environment. Putting the environment back to the state that it was before a mine was there in the past. And so there are many, many stories that talk to that. And so I just don't think that we have really expressed it enough. And we tend to shy away from it because in the past there were some negative stories, certainly around mine diamonds, but this is really not really the case anymore today. So we can very confidently talk about all the good that diamonds do around the world and how the communities there are well taken care of, certainly from the mining companies such as Alrosa.
Yeah. We have a question from Muriel Pieza. And I think I understand the question. It was saying, do you foresee that more fine diamond jewelry can be sold virtually, for example, in a virtual showroom? I mean, clearly people are increasingly stuck in their homes. What is the outlook for sales of diamond jewelry online, say looking at the US market, for example?
Yeah, so Absolutely. Again, sometimes with pandemic comes opportunity. And because people have had time to really educate themselves and work with the internet, it has really been a call to action for most retailers and most diamond suppliers to become much more digitally savvy, to enhance their website capabilities, provide certain experiential things like virtual try-ons, personal concierge. So in most cases, we've seen incredible increases in sales, virtual sales from just digital platforms, in some cases 200+%. So yes, I think this has definitely been a major shift for the jewelry market. And it's also actually made a big difference in self-purchase. It's given many people the permission, let's say, to actually go online and buy something for themselves and not necessarily wait for it as a gift.
And Rebecca, how would you break that online outlook down? How would you break it down in terms of segments? So, for example, at the very top end of the diamond jewelry market, do you think consumers will have the confidence to buy a very high value piece online, maybe tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars online? Or do you think it's going to be mainly the lower segment of the market where increasingly diamond jewelry will be sold online?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly more in the low to mid level purchase price point. However, we do have online auctions, and we do have platforms like The Real and others that have been, selling higher ticket jewelry items for a while, and I think they've seen tremendous increases over this past pandemic as well. Like anything, it's a new trend. It takes time. People will have to get more confidence. But again, with more traceability, transparency, documentation of provenance, of origin, I think that, this is certainly the beginning of a new opportunity and trend for each.
If I may, David, actually, because I'm also in touch with other parts of the world and markets, I definitely, first of all, we will have soon Lionel Genest, which is based in Los Angeles, and he works with independent designers, and he actually represents them. And he's been selling, important haute designs jewelers online, and they've been selling big pieces. But also the Middle East. In the Middle East, people is also used to purchasing important pieces online. So the online world has grown with the pandemic. Of course, that means that also companies will have to adjust and transform their companies and their communication online. I mean, they cannot keep, acting like in the previous century or before pandemic, because the approach to online communication has changed, meaning photography, content, consumer experience, websites, service. It's not just posting a piece of jewelry online. This is something very important that has to be highlighted. We will have sessions focusing on the approaches and methodology, not just posting on Instagram, but rather creating all the communication funnel to really bring consumer to buy and purchase with confidence certain pieces.
And it does seem, to some degree, that the big auction houses have led the way to some degree, particularly during the early period of lockdown. We saw Sotheby's, for example, sell a Cartier Tutti Frutti bracelet from around 1930 for a world record price for a jewel sold online of $1.3 million. And I think those messages from Sotheby's and then from Christie's, which also sold some diamonds at extraordinary high prices during the early lockdown period, sends a strong signal that people are willing now to buy high jewellery, high diamond jewellery online. But if I could ask you, Rebecca, in terms of the marketing of diamond jewellery, when people are locked down in their homes, do you think it's a challenge to convey emotion and feeling through online digital channels? We talked about meaningful purchases. Is it tough to market this, on Instagram? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it depends on the platform. I mean, certainly on a website or, on a more prolific platform, you have the ability to really tell a very robust story. I mean, and sometimes better than you can actually, because we all know that at the end of the day, the success of jewelry or anything that's in store is, what happens that 12 feet between the customer and the sales associate. So if you're able to control your story and really tell it fully with video, allow for virtual try-on, provide all of the provenance stories and, the origin story, and talk about from mine to market, and share, a really, really robust history of that piece of jewelry and how it was made and where its componentry came from. I think people are more open to that now and more trusting of that, as Paula and you both mentioned. So it's not just posting a picture of a piece of jewelry or a diamond, as Paula said. It's really, making a storybook out of it, talking about that journey, talking about the story behind that piece. And you can do that, I think, very, very well on a digital platform.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from Daniela Pellizzari regarding purchasing of diamond jewellery online. Daniela says, for fancy colour diamonds, how can we be sure that the stones haven't been treated as HPHT? In other words, that they haven't been grown in a lab. Rebecca, any thoughts on that?
Again, I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone would buy a natural colored diamond online without the proper certification and verification.
GIA are now certifying lab-grown diamonds as well, aren't they?
They're certifying lab-grown diamonds. Absolutely, the labs are very, well versed and educated on lab-grown versus natural, and you can see that in your certification. You can see that in your letters, whatever usually comes along with a very, important stone that's a natural colored diamond.
Yep. Paula, you wanted to say something?
Yes, actually, I was telling about, going back to digital and just really talking about, it's important, and this is what company will have to start measuring. It's what is called the ROI, return on investment. Basically, the ROI will be the amount of money the company will be investing online to basically have their return on investment on all the activities. So with digital disruption and all the digital transformation, more and more companies will have to acquire internal digital knowledge, not just on the technical aspect, but on the dynamic. And so we'll have to learn about the funnel and how it works to really bring revenues to their online investment. This is here to stay, so more and more professionals will have to be up to speed and up to date with all this type of information. And at this time, most companies are not knowledgeable, and it's called digitally educated with this type of information. But this is the real transition that will have to happen. I'm talking about in terms of distribution and direct communication with consumer. This is a time in history that is revolutionary, because you can have proprietary research based on creating your own survey directly with the consumer by presenting design, diamond, or other type of products, creating a poll with consumers on design, material. So the best is yet to come to really create product that will be engaged and acquired and purchased by the consumer. So I think this is a very great time, and I really I hope to stimulate the trade as well, the independent designer, which are actually more dynamic than the company, the large corporation, in really creating this direct consumer communication with consumer and ultimately sales.
We have a question which I'll direct to Rebecca from Rabab Mango, again relating to online sales of diamond jewelry. How do you see the outlook in countries where online retail is not very well developed yet? You know, in certain developing countries, for example, there still really isn't the habit of buying online. I mean, what do you think the outlook is there?
You know, look, all of these things take time, and takes time to evolve. Some markets are much more, you know, ahead of it than others. I will tell you, for the U.S. market, where, you know, technology has been booming for a while. I mean, the jewelry industry has been way behind most other industries, and they're playing catch up. But they're doing it, and it seems to be working. So, you know, I can't predict, you know, the capabilities that these other countries will have, but everybody has to start somewhere, and it's an organic process. Everything with digital is organic. There's nothing static. It's constantly moving. It's constantly changing. So better to start and do the best that you can with what you have, and start to educate the consumer, even if it's just basic education, to give them that sense of trust and empowerment. You know, knowledge is power. Communication is power. So I don't think anything is too small. And I just think you know, everybody will be on their own sort of timeline. But certainly, you know, giving the consumer the basics to make them feel more comfortable with what they're doing, ultimately should help get them there to one day be able to also feel comfortable purchasing.
Yeah. And Rebecca, if I could ask you a two-pronged question about the future. I mean, obviously we're plowing fast now into the holiday 2020 season. The festive season is about to be upon us. What are your general thoughts about the outlook for diamond jewelry sales in the North American market during the festive period about to come? Particularly as now we're in the, you know, the height of the pandemic, with record cases of coronavirus being reported on an almost daily basis. And my second question is, looking beyond that period to a time next year when hopefully a vaccine will become available. Do you sense that if and when a vaccine does become available, that there will be a sort of a new focus for diamond jewelry purchases, almost like a celebration, a great burst of relief from people, and a celebratory focus on buying diamond jewelry?
So, you know, I wish I had a crystal ball, I think like most of us, but I think with the holiday season, we're going to see less specified time period of buying. What do I mean by that? I mean, typically in the US market, a lot of the purchase for holiday, you know, is last minute. And most people, you know, really didn't start shopping until after Thanksgiving. I think we're seeing from certain surveys that have been done already that that's not the case, that people have already took the time to think about gift giving and buying. So I think we're going to see a more steady, flow of sales from now through the holiday season, which I think is a good thing. And I think it'll take us out of that panic of, you know, having to get something last minute, and maybe really thinking more about what it is that you choose. Certainly with all these opportunities for, you know, symbolic jewelry design and messages that can really have more relevance. I think post-pandemic, you know, it's hard to tell what life is going to be like after that. Are people going to shift back to more of the other luxury categories, which have, you know, stolen the share of wallet from jewelry? I don't know. But what I do know is that it's really up to the industry to wake up and to remain energized and continue to talk about all the good that natural diamonds do, talk about the stories, talk about the provenance, talk about the inherent value and the legacy component, so that regardless of what state the economy is in, regardless of what state we are from an economic standpoint, that thinking about buying jewelry and natural diamond jewelry always is top of mind and is always looked at as a good and safe and smart purchase.
Thank you very much. Well, our hour is about to come up to
Yes.
an end. There's one last question from Annie Kachian, which was for Rebecca. Does Alrosa have a diamond purchasing platform that we may access?
We are just about to launch that. You mean a B2B platform where you could buy diamonds, I assume.
Yeah.
We are about to launch our own platform, so keep a look.
Great. Well, thank you very much indeed, both Paola and Rebecca, for your time today. It's been a very illuminating look on the power of symbolic jewellery, with actually a very joyful message that there is very vibrant demand out there for diamond jewellery as a meaningful and personalised gift. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Trendvision webinar on the 7th of December.
Before you end, I just wanted to say that this presentation will be downloadable free of charge on the Trendvision website. And I also would like to say that the Trendbook 2022, it is for purchase online. You can order it and you can download it in PDF. So thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you for your precious insights. I think it was extremely interesting. Everybody was really into you. You are the stars today with the diamonds and everything else. And grazie, David. Thank you, David, for being part of our team.
Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe, everybody.
You too.
Ciao.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.